Yet again, it's another happy accident at Black and Blue Garage. Today we're going to talk about suck down winches and why you would need them. Now, the reason I have an RC truck in my video today is because it would be really difficult to demonstrate this on my Jeep. It's not running yet and I haven't had it out on the rocks. And for the other reason being, I don't want to flip the Jeep Comanche over just to prove my theory. Suck down winches do exactly what the name implies. It takes the body that's working against the suspension and it sucks it down. Nowadays, people want to have a ride height that's either in the middle or lower because it keeps the center of gravity of the crawler low. Now, when you're going up a hill, all the weight is shifted to the rear of the vehicle or the front, depending on if you're going up or down. And it'll cause the body to shift away from the axle. And in combination with the rolling torque of the rear axle and the weight being shifted away from the hill, you get into a roll back or roll forward situation. Now, I can sort of simulate this by moving this truck up on a plane and watch as the body unloads on the front suspension. Now in the front, a lot of people just have a winch up here that they can attach to the front axle, and when you're up on a hill, you can just suck the front down, and they use their main winch as a suck down winch, and that's what I've been advised to do as well. But on my Jeep Comanche, if you remember, I put a 2,500 pound suck down winch right above the rear axle. I don't see that a whole lot, but I'm going to explain why I think that's necessary. I've built tons of RC trucks, and I keep going back to the same way of building them. You make them heavy in the front, you make very little up travel, and you make them as low CG as possible. So when I started building my first one-to-one build, which is this 1988 Jeep Comanche, I went with the same thing. I reduced a bunch of weight in the back by removing all the unnecessary parts, cutting 2 feet out of the bed, chopping the frame off, and I've actually added weight in the front by adding a 13,000 pound winch, bigger engine, and bigger tires all around. So having a lot of weight up front is going to be helpful because when you're trying to get over small obstacles, the extra weight in the front can help you to crawl over whatever obstacle that you're doing, as long as you're able to slide across said obstacle with your skid plates or clear it with your belly height. This effect also has benefits when going uphill because heavier front end keeps your weight down in the front, and you can get a much steeper angle than you would if you had a lot of weight in the back. This, however, does make it dangerous for when you're going down a hill, because if you're really heavy in the front but really light in the back, you'll soon find out that going down the steep incline, your rear suspension unloads and your tires start to come off the ground at way less of an angle than when you went up the hill to begin with. So getting to why I brought my RC truck out to the shop today, I'm going to do a little experiment with this metal plate and this angle finder. We're going to see what kind of difference a suck down winch in the rear on how steep of a hill you can descend in a truck that has a suck down winch versus a truck that doesn't. In respect to a true scientific experiment, I don't want to touch the truck at all, so I'm going to hold the front axle with a magnet. So I will put a zip tie around the front as far forward as possible so we're not affecting the results whatsoever. I should have got a longer zip tie. That should keep the truck from rolling forward, as if my little skeleton guy and his son were standing on the brakes going downhill. As a side note, if you were to hit the brakes, know that any stock vehicle is designed to brake the front wheels more than the rear wheels. And that's just so that your rear wheels don't lock up when you're slamming on the brakes at an intersection and you have like a loss of control situation. So if you were to be going down a hill that's really steep and you even touch the brakes a little too hard, it's going to lock the front wheels up and it's going to flip your truck over. So we're aired down, we have the front brakes on just for the experiment, and my rear suspension is free to move full up and full down. We'll make sure this suspension starts sagged out where it normally rides, and then we can tilt this up, watch the suspension unload a little bit, which is equivalent to about full scale 6 inches. And then you can look at this, I'll spin it around and I'll look at it because I don't want to go back and watch the video right now. And then I'll add a little suck down winch to the back simulated by a zip tie. And then I'll look at the gauge again to see how much more of a steeper angle that you can descend with a suck down winch. So here we go. I'll go slow. Nice and slow. There goes the suspension unloading. It's starting to slide forward. The brakes are on. I see the wheels start to come off. This wheel's already off. Oh, there we go. And at approximately that angle, we have a flip over situation. You'll be able to see the tire closest to you come off first. The suspension just unloaded. The brakes are really doing their job. We're almost at 60. That tire no closest to you is off the ground. And we've unloaded and we started. So what we know is that without a suck down winch and while holding the front brakes, the suspension unloads and we have a flip over at 61 or 62 degrees. We're gonna put the suck down winch. We're gonna suck it all the way down, almost to bump stops probably. We've got that bro truck squat profile going on, and let's test this again. Now you watch and then I'll watch. There we go. Suspension's not allowed to unload because we have a rear suck down winch. That should be about 40 degrees. The tire's starting to come off. Then you go nice and slow. And there it is, right there. Make a note. Here's a view from the other side. I'm hoping to see my expected results. It was 61 degrees without the rear end being sucked down. Right there is 61 degrees. There's 65 degrees. We got 4 more degrees. It's tipped. That was three or four more additional degrees of angle, which can be a lot. And 65 degrees. 65 degrees is a pretty decent angle for going down an obstacle. And also keep in mind that you wouldn't be on the brakes like this. You would be rolling, so you could probably go down something even a little steeper. That's enough of that. Gross. This truck is geared pretty low, so if I put it at a steep enough angle, it's heavy enough that it'll actually roll off of this diamond plate. And that's exactly what you would want to do in a situation where you feel like you're going to flip over forward. Is just let go of the brakes. Let your transmission do the work. Or even if you just wanted to like throttle through it and get down the hill. Because this would be very dangerous. It's actually why a lot of people believe in having a big stinger on the front. The idea would be that you hit the stinger, it causes your vehicle to barrel roll and you fall on the side instead of the top. So what have we learned? 1, I make really cool RC trucks. 2, suck down winches do help. Maybe not as much as I thought they would, but 4 or 5 degrees or even 3 degrees would make a big difference, especially if it could mean your life. I put a cage on this year. Hopefully there's enough contact points to where everything stays in one thing. I don't think that it would hold up to like that situation, especially if this thing is gonna weigh 5,000 pounds and I have heavier axles landing on top of my unibody. So that's why I'm putting a rear suck down winch so that I have one in the back and one in the front. And today I need to weld a hitch point for the rear suck down winch to actually hook to. And then I'll power up the winch because I kind of want to see the body go up and down, because I think that would be really cool. Alrighty, so this is the cable from the suck down winch that I've got mounted to this cross beam that I made. And it's going to pull out and mount to the axle right there. So again, I'm welding in shorts because I don't like to wear pants, but that's okay. Okay, so this is a bracket off of the front Barnes truss that I bought, and I'd ended up not using it because I went with something else. and then I drilled the hole out to, I think, 3/4 inch, which is what size I need to put this shackle to connect it to the rear winch. So if I look at where this winch hangs, and I set this up right here, I should be able to weld all the way around it and then connect the two, and we'll be in business. This doesn't fit through there. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's kind of funny, actually. Alright, so the shackle doesn't fit through there. So I'm just going to put the pin through both the shackle and the hole that I made. Sort of a fixed point until I can come up with another system. Alright, now let's hook up some wires and test this thing. All I gotta do is hook it up to one of the car batteries that I have, and then I can either use the remote winch or the wired winch that I have hooked up. Watch this thing go up and down. Now it should sink probably, the rear actually has like 6, I would say 5.5 to 6 inches of up travel. Quite impressed with Super Start battery. I have drained and recharged this at least a dozen times, and it still works pretty strong. Oh yeah, it's working. All right. Well, it works. So it's strong enough to pull the suspension down in the back, and it's loud enough to where I can hear that it's all the way off the suspension, which is good because that means I don't have to worry about free spooling it, which is a relief because that was a concern of mine. I was considering hooking the pull release for the spool up to the parking brake. I don't have to do any of that, which saves me probably an entire day of work and a whole load off my mind, because that's just more moving parts, and it would be cool, but I'm not gonna do it. That's plenty loud enough to where I can hear that the winch is, you know, has completely let go of everything. So I just gotta make sure that I let the winch out enough to where when I'm bouncing over rocks it doesn't yank on the winch a little too hard. I am really impressed. That's mounted with grade 8 bolts. I'm going to reinforce the bracket on there. This is really exciting. I'm going to hook up all the wires to my power distribution area. It's already fused. Oh, there was another thing I wanted to try. I got this wireless winch too. Let me hold it. Ah! Oh, that was really cool. So anyway, that's enough for this video. I hope you liked my RC truck and my demonstration and getting to see this thing go up and down like a lowrider. I know, I'm excited. Hopefully that makes this a little bit safer. I'm not sure how this scales from like little RC trucks to full-size stuff, but like Matt says, it's probably going to be 11% safer. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. You just have to remember it's 100% not perfect, but I like it. Well, YouTube, another thing is working on my Jeep. Yet again, it's another happy accident at Black and Blue Garage.